welcome back to the Rise and Align podcast, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts. My name is Halie.
And I'm Demi, and today we thought we'd do a fun little episode. It is Earth Day as we're filming this. It'll probably be a couple weeks later when this comes out, but we wanted to plant our seeds of intention, both literally and metaphorically. This is the perfect time to think about what you want to do while you have more energy during the summer. It's also such a cool representation of how manifestations work, starting in the dark and coming to light. So we thought it'd be fun just to kind of talk about that and have a little springy episode for you. And we're also just going to talk about, whatever comes up, whatever feels aligned. So come hang out with us.
Yes, totally. I love spring. I feel like we're coming back to life, and obviously nature is doing that as well. We can see that reflected, and like you had said, it's a great representation of our manifestations. If you are into planting or gardening, I highly recommend it, because you can plant your intentions with your physical seeds. Like, you can think about that as you are planting your seeds, and then as you're watering and nurturing these seeds to come to life, you can do that with your intentions as well. I think it's so cool to watch them grow together.
I think too, our subconscious mind is more impacted when we take physical action and have physical representation of things within our reality, right? So just like when we write down things that we want to release and burn them, it's more effective for our subconscious to see us literally do that than it is to just be like saying it or just thinking it. And this is the same kind of concept. And not only are we like putting that intention into it, but we get to literally watch them grow, which is really cool. I really genuinely believe that because everything is made up of energy, the energy that you are at while you're planting these things is going to have an effect on the way that they grow, as well as the energy that you bring around them. Like, if you really care for your plants, you can tell your plants get really healthy and they grow wildly, and you can tell when it's a good environment for plants to grow in versus when you're kind of neglecting them, not thinking about them, or speaking a lot of negativity around them. It totally changes the way that plants grow.
I love that so much. That's so true. And of course, I always have to kind of like bring astrology into it. We are in Taurus season, and that is an earth sign. So
Yes.
This is a great way to connect with Earth, Mother Earth. It's Earth Day, but every day is Earth Day. So you can always celebrate Mother Earth. And I think that Taurus, in this time of year, with it being an earth sign and it being spring, of course, it's a time to plant seeds, but also it's a time to grow your roots. Start to build a foundation for your manifestations to grow from. And I think that a seed planted into the earth is very representative. Is that how the
Representative?
right word?
Yeah.
Represents
Yeah.
words. It represents your journey as well, because you can be doing the work, you can be manifesting, like doing all the things, and not necessarily see results right away in your external reality. But it's so important to trust and to know that things are still falling into place how they're meant to. Like, seeds begin to grow their roots and sprout down deeper into the earth. You don't see that right away. You don't really know that that's happening in the dark soil, but eventually you'll get to see it come up out of the ground and blossom and bloom and all the things. But I think that that's just so reflective of our journey as well. Like, we may not see our work reflected into our reality right away, but just trust it. It's coming, it's on the way, and you are growing even if you don't see it right in front of you right away.
I also think it's a really cool thing that, so for example, us right now, we're going to plant these in smaller pots just so that they have a chance to germinate and grow. And especially, I'm going to put them inside because it's kind of chilly here still. But just like us, eventually they're going to grow out of their container and need a bigger place to be. So eventually I'll transplant them. But it's good to think about yourself. If you what?
You're just funny. You just
I
dumped the
dumped
whole
them all in
thing.
there. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. Well, it was wildflowers, and there weren't very many in here, so I was like, well, I might as well just plant them all in there, and then if they start growing, I mean, I'm gonna plant them in the yard anyway.
Do you want me to do that too?
You can do whatever you want. But I think that we need to think about that too, because if you're living in a kind of small container, which might be only in your mind, it might not be your reality, or it might be reflecting in your reality. But if you are kind of stuck in a box and stuck in the same thoughts and stuck in the same beliefs, it might be time to expand so that, well, expand your perspective, expand your mind, expand your practices, and expand the physical reality around you so that you have room to grow. Because I think that's such a huge thing, that people don't hold the capacity for the manifestations that they truly desire.
Yeah, that's so true and so important. It's kind of like that concept of breaking the ceiling or whatever. Like, people think about like the corporate, like climbing the ladder, and like breaking through the ceiling. Yeah, I think of like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Like when you're used to living a certain way and you've gotten used to, how do I want to say this? Like your external reality is, you've reached a certain point, and then that's normal for you, and it can be hard to like up level from that if you don't expand your mind or your thoughts or change how you're doing things. You're going to kind of go to the top of the elevator, and you're never going to be able to get past that if you don't allow yourself to. But once you start like making breakthroughs, you start changing your mindset, you start believing that bigger things are possible, more things are possible. Like you will be like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, like shooting out of the building, like doing things that you never thought were possible. But you'll realize once you do believe they're possible, like anything can happen.
Absolutely. And I really, really believe that the belief is the key, because you must have feeling before, you must have sensation before manifestation. That really truly is the key to everything, is that belief. And so as you were talking, I was thinking about lately the concept of the knowing doing gap that I learned from Bob Proctor has been coming up a lot for me lately. And what the knowing doing gap is that in our conscious mind, we know something. Like he uses the example, we know that eating cake is going to make us gain weight. And when we're on a diet, we're like, okay, I'm not going to eat cake anymore. But then we get into habit and we eat the cake, even though we know what it's going to do, right? And we do that with everything. Our 90% of our behavior is habitual. So it's not like we don't know. You might know, and you might be one of those people who says, I know. I've definitely, I was the mayor of I know one time, my mom will tell you. Now my child is. That's karma. But you don't know. And sometimes even when you do know, you still aren't acting that way. And I've also been thinking a lot about quantum leaping, quantum jumping lately. And for me, what I see the point of that is, you want to observe like multiverse versions of you who have things that you may want, who have characteristics, traits, beliefs that have helped them acquire the life that you desire to be experiencing. So when you're thinking about like, I want to take on those things, you can know consciously, well, they dress like this. Well, they act like this. Well, they probably believe that it's really easy for them to get this or to have abundance or to, attract love or whatever. They have that belief. But how do you absorb that belief and truly believe it? That's the knowing doing gap. And the only way to close that gap is to study how the physical reality works, because Bob always said blind faith was worthless. But when you understand how the reality works, it gives you faith. And with that faith, you can truly believe that you already have these characteristics. So when I'm thinking about quantum leaping, and I'm thinking like, this version of Demi, like I was filming today and I hadn't filmed a TikTok in a long time. And so I felt like awkward at first. And I was like, why do I feel awkward? I've done this literally thousands of times. And I was like, Demi, who's already highly successful at doing this, who does this all the time, doesn't think twice about it. It's supernatural, second nature for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, right. That's how she feels. Supernatural, second nature, talking to supernatural. But talking to like my friends, talking to myself, whatever. It's normal for me. It's easy. And then I was like, that is literally what you have to take on, no matter what belief you're trying to take on, is that I already feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, like, if you can see it, you can turn it into your own belief.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. I love that way of looking at it. And it just comes back to what you said earlier, like sensation before manifestation. But it's like, how do you achieve the sensation? Like, what does that mean? I think a lot of people don't understand like how you feel something without
experiencing
it.
Yeah. And that's the irony in like being human, is that human nature thinks, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you won't see it unless you believe it first.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, mic drop.
Right? But I do believe that if you are doing the work and you are putting the energy in, right, there's always going to be energy exchange with the universe. So that's one reason to believe in what you're trying to achieve, is that you know that you're putting that energy into it already. But then when you really understand like the laws of physics, you're like, okay, well, if I were to say I already have this thing that I want, like, I don't know, maybe you want a Bugatti or something, right? Well, I can think about how the leather smells and how fun it is to drive fast and what kind of music I'm going to listen to and where I'm going to drive. And, you know, what is it going to feel like to drive this car? And I mean, it can be literally anything. It can be like literally anything. But how does it feel to have that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now act like you already do. Act out of that feeling. The act will really change everything, because the act can change the reality that you experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like, we always talk about yoga, right? Yoga is a great way to reprogram the subconscious, because the act changes the reality. So you can either change the reality with your thoughts or with your actions, or both, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you change the reality, then your thoughts are going to change, and then your actions are going to change too. So either way works. But definitely you can see this so clearly in all of life. And for me lately, like these concepts of how do I change the reality of what I'm experiencing to the reality that I want to experience are becoming like so apparent, because I'm seeing it in my own life. I'm seeing it in my friends' lives. I'm seeing it in my clients' lives. And it's like so obvious now. It's like, okay, you're struggling. I've had quite a few people lately have this theme of like, and I think it's hard for women, because, you know, we are aging in a way that eventually we can't produce babies anymore, right? That is a reality. But for women, we're always like, okay, what is going to happen in the future? Like, how do I control my safety, right? Not everybody, but a lot of people have these fears of like, am I going to be abandoned? Am I going to end up married? Am I going to be able to have kids? Like, it's definitely a real thing. And I think that the only way to manifest those things is to act as though you already have them. Act so sure that you know you're going to have them, that they're going to happen. And what we do instead is we act out of our fear. We act out of our, this isn't happening yet. Why aren't you doing this yet? Why haven't you proposed yet? And that person got proposed to and I'm sad. And instead of, that person is really close to me and they got proposed to, that means I'm attracting that energy. That means that people do love each other and people do get engaged and people do get married, and this can happen. And it all can change depending on how you're perceiving it and what you're choosing to believe and feel about it. So if you stop yourself and realize, like, yelling at this person to do this, that, or the other thing, pressuring somebody into it, worrying about yourself, pressuring yourself about it, that's not creating the emotion that you would have if you had that thing that you wanted. That's the opposite.
Yes.
And so that's what you're attracting. That's the key, is realizing, recognizing, what are my habitual thoughts around this? How am I habitually acting and feeling that is creating the reality that I don't want? You can change it all through that.
Yes. Yeah. I love that so much. And that process, that way of being, has changed everything for me. and using things that trigger you, like say the more like negative reaction of like you feel jealous of someone or you feel sad because it's not you. What is the opposite feeling of that? Like instead you could feel like so happy for them. You could, you know, like you had said, like one, you can change how you're feeling about what's going on around you, and you can use that as a way to see that that energy, that frequency is getting closer and closer to you. The people around you are experiencing that. That means you are aligning with that energy because you have people around you that are reflecting that energy back to you. So it's just as likely to happen to you as well. Like you're connecting to that energy because it's just being reflected around you. But also, I was speaking of supernatural, I was rereading some chapters of Becoming Supernatural recently, and a decent amount of the book is about quantum leaping without necessarily saying quantum leaping, but he talks a lot about accessing like the quantum field. And what it all comes down to is coming back to the present moment. If you're in the present moment, you're not worried about the future problems that you may face. You're not worried about I may not be able to do this, or is my life going to happen like this, or whatever. You're just worried about your circumstances now, or you are just here now. And like we always talk about, it's usually all good here now. Yep. And, you know, worrying about the future just puts more negativity into the future. It puts more angst. It puts more like, just really yucky energy towards your future, where instead you could be putting effort into, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to work out for me. I'm so excited for when I do get married. I'm so excited to have a baby. I know it's going to happen. Like just putting that energy into it is so much more powerful. But also with accessing like the quantum field, you have to dissociate yourself from your identity. You have to dissociate from all that you know, because what you know is what you're perpetuating over and over again. You have to access the unknown. You have to be able to step out of this version of you in order to access the new version of you, in order to access like the unlimited possibilities, because the unlimited possibilities are in the unknown, things that you don't know.
Yes.
And the unknown is in the quantum field. That is where all possibilities are. And so it's really important to meditate, to disconnect and allow yourself to like access that like all one source energy, quantum field, whatever you want to call it. Because one, when you do that, you're not worried. You're not worried about anything. You are so connected to all that is. You're not worried. It feels so good to connect back with source, because source is unconditional loving energy. But along with that, you can connect to the quantum field and create a reality from this place of infinite possibilities, because the quantum field is energy. It is vibration. It is not a thing. It's not a person. It's not like the 3D. So when you can get out of the 3D and access like
all that is,
you can have all that is, all that you want.
Yeah, definitely. I think too, like, as you were talking, I was hearing like, if you're acting from that comfortable place of what you know and who you know and what's been true for you, then nothing changes. And I think like to put that into an obvious physical example, if you believe that nothing has ever worked out for you, you're going to always be acting out of that and trying to, your ego will try to protect yourself because you're scared to get hurt. So you'll be like, well, since no relationship has ever worked out for me, I'm scared this one's not going to work out for me. So I'm going to act out of my fear and either like ruin the relationship, self-sabotage, break up with this person, do whatever I got to do to protect myself, right? But if you instead choose to believe that things can work out for you and follow your heart and open your heart and, you know, change how you're feeling and what you're believing, you're going to act differently. And that relationship may very well work out for you, just like everything else might.
Because if you're like nourishing your seeds instead of like never watering them and hiding them in a dark shed.
Well, I'm not going to give you water because I'm scared for you to grow.
Like you're it's not going to happen that way because you're not like nourishing it. But if you put that loving, nourishing energy into it, like you would a plant, like you would your child, like you're putting energy into that relationship or whatever it is to grow.
Yes. Also, like, you have to bring those demons or those subconscious beliefs or those habitual feelings and actions to light, and then nourish yourself, nourish your inner child, you know, love yourself, take care of yourself, heal that so that you can grow, so that you can develop these relationships and the life that you want, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
So another thing for me is like, okay, I feel like I've gotten really good at all of the things that we've said.
Yeah.
But I struggle with the taking action part.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I know all the things, like I practice all the things, but I don't take action towards X, Y, and Z. So I did recently finally take action on something that I've been like wanting to manifest for a really long time. So I just booked a flight to go to Ireland by myself.
You
summer.
did?
Yeah.
She lays it on me.
It's just really silly because it's like coming to me. I could have done this at any point. Like, what was I waiting for? You know? And I don't know if it, I don't think it was from a place of fear necessarily, but it's just like you get comfortable and you just like, if you don't like force yourself or put yourself in situations where you get out of your comfort zone or whatever, like you won't grow and you don't do it. I don't know, whatever it is, but
That's
just finally
the knowing doing gap.
I was like, why don't I just do what I want to do? Like,
yes.
Why am I waiting? Like, why am I not just doing what I want to do when I want to do it? Like, it was just like a weird like thing for me where I'm just like, I can do this. Why am I not doing this? This is what I want.
Yes. That's so good. And I think that so many people can apply that to like so many different areas of their lives. And that's what I notice a lot with quantum leaping, quantum jumping, is that you can see the person who already has this would have just done it. Why am I, even though I know that, why am I not doing it? And taking action and breaking through that terror barrier is what's going to make the difference in your life. And also recognizing that you're not taking action and asking yourself why will lead you to what you need to learn and what you need to work on and what you need to expand within yourself so that you can just take action when you want to, you know. And you have to do what you want to do. You have to follow those inklings and that excitement. And I think, you know, for me and so many people, what holds us back is like fear of like, well, what if I don't have enough money? Well, what if I don't have enough time? Well, what if something happens? Well, what if? It doesn't matter. You got to do what you want to do.
And I think about that in even like relationships or really, you know, in job, like a lot of people think like, oh, I need to get this certification before I can do that. I need to have I need to, I don't know, be like this person before I can have that. Or like you put so much like standards or how you think things should look before you are allowed to have something.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you were born worthy to have whatever you want. And if it excites you, if it's something that you want, you're meant to have it.
Yes.
So it's not like we create so much like fight within ourselves for no reason. Like you want something, like go for it, go get it. Like you don't have to be anything. Just be yourself and go do what you want. Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, we're our biggest enemies. We're the only thing holding ourselves back, really, truly. I know.
And also, you got to think like, okay, if I already had all these things I wanted, would I be afraid to take this action? No, I wouldn't. So you have to act from that place if you want to create that reality.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have like friends who are like, oh, I could never do that. I would never do that by myself. Or like, oh, like that's scary. Like, good for you, but
I wouldn't do it.
It's so funny because I'm like, I'm so excited. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just, whatever. It feels so good. And I, it's just, it's funny, but it also makes me feel like so proud of myself. And you can see like how much you've been able to like change your own mindset about things, and like how much you've grown and stuff, which is like, it's really cool. And it's also funny when you can like laugh at other people like trying to tell you like what they think, or what they think is best, and it's just funny. It's fun. I don't know.
It is, yeah. And I mean, new experiences literally create new wiring in your brain. Like, they'll change the pattern that you think in. It's so important to take those risks and do those things that you're afraid to do. Worst case scenario is never really that bad.
Totally. Exactly. And if it feels good to you, like I said, it's meant to happen. It's meant to be. And even if you're scared like about money, or you're scared about this, that, or the other thing, like if it feels aligned, like it will work out no matter what. And I think that's kind of the belief you have to hold, is like with anything, like it's always working out for me. And if you're following your heart, you're following, what makes you feel most aligned, like you can't fail. And if something does go wrong, and I say that in quotations, that's meant to be as well. You're meant to either learn from something from that, or whatever. It's going to eventually bring you to another opportunity or experience that you were meant to have, that's going to be even better than what you thought you wanted in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that said, I wanted to kind of talk about like the intentions that I'm planting here. So funny, one of them is take action more. Take action on exciting ideas. That's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately too, is like I should take more action. I've been kind of like stagnant because I'm like happy where I am here now, but I'm like, okay, I do want more things. It's time to start following that inspired action and following my highest excitement. I said practice more of what I preach and do more subconscious work right before bed, because lately I have been reading a ton, which I think is still helpful because it makes me feel like excited and happy and in love when I'm reading. But there are certain things that I want to personally visualize and that I haven't been doing lately. So I'm going to start doing more of that. Also, when you're doing intentions, like I'm so happy and grateful this already is. It already is. I wrote eating healthier. We just ate really healthy salads for dinner. I am so happy and grateful that I'm eating healthier. I've been consistently taking vitamins, waking up earlier, making sure to write down my goals and work towards them, and being more gentle and having open-hearted communication, I think is so important, and something I've been consistently working on doing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I feel like we're always so aligned with so many things. I feel like just off the top of my head, like for my intentions, like would be to take action as well, in terms of like, I talked about this in our like New Year episode, but just taking action in what I want to share with the world, and like taking action on like my purpose, because I feel like I have so many ideas and things I want to share and things that I want to do for like Superior Crystal Coven that I know that I want to do. I have the plans, but I haven't actually taken action on them. So I've made it a big goal and intention of mine to nourish that aspect of my life, and I'm excited about that. And then I want to have a better morning routine again, because when I woke up really early and made time to do yoga right away in the morning, made time to meditate, to visualize, to step into the future version of me, I felt so good, and I still feel good, but it's different when you are you're nourishing your intentions every single day, like you're putting that effort in. And I do a lot of my practices on a daily basis, but I just think that the morning is such a magical time, and it allows you to start off aligned. And I really want to make that a priority for myself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with all those things as per usual. It's funny too. I think so many people are going to relate to this because when you have like close friends, you'll often like dress alike, act alike, start taking on languages and stuff like that. And I think outsiders will be like, oh, did they dress to match, you know? But it's funny because all the girls know when you're aligned with another girl, you just randomly wear almost the same outfit. So I had a black corset on earlier, but I wanted to have something over it. I almost put on my black jean jacket, but I was like, no, it just doesn't feel right. I want to be more comfortable. So I changed. But still, I'm wearing a black top and light bottoms. I have flowers on me. I've got gold jewelry on. We have literally the same earrings on right now. I just got this ring that has a star and a moon, and you have like a celestial ring with moons and stars. I'm like, this is funny.
Yeah, we're so funny. I almost wore a black and like tan leopard skirt, so we would.
I looked at mine today too, and I was like, maybe, and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's so funny. We'll like show up somewhere and we'll be the same
outfit.
And I think honestly, you know, a lot of people ask if we're like actually sisters, and I feel like I don't feel like we look that much alike. I think we have like some similar features, but I think that we just give off such a similar energy that people read that and they're just like
must be related.
I don't know. It's really funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I love that. I feel like that is like soul sister vibes, you know, like, yeah, that is how it is. But I love it. Also, you know, we always talk about putting magic into everything we do. So we did kind of talk about like, you know, the intentions we're going to put in the seeds and how taking care of them and nourishing them and like appreciating their life and stuff is going to make them grow. But also you can put intentions into water and water that you are consuming as well. You know, our words are vibration and also energy, you know, in more than one way. So I think we should put intentions into the flower pot water.
Yes, that's a super good idea. I also, just while we're on this topic, I will have a little like video of just a video of my own little garden, but some things that I did that were magical to make this a little more magical is you can get little like crystal chips, and I put a little crystal chip in all my little seedling plants. Cute. And then you can water them with moon water if you choose to, like if it feels like a nurturing energy. You can water your plants with moon water, which is, I think, you know, just some magical, put moon water on everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You can like speak your intention into the seed as you plant them. That's pretty magical, but yeah, we can continue our little...
So even though I poured all mine in there, I went and poked each one in as I thought about each intention, because I was like, I don't want to interrupt, but...
And even just like, I love you, you're gonna grow big and beautiful. You can just put intention specifically for the seeds. Yeah, that's really cute.
I absolutely talk to my plants like that when they're growing too. I'm like, you're so pretty, look at you grow, you got a new baby.
I know, I was just thinking about that yesterday because one of my monstera plants is like, so I propagated it off of the mama monstera plant, and so it just started as like 2 little leaves, and I propagated it, and now it's getting really big and beautiful, and it got a really big leaf the other day, and it's like the perfect type of leaf because on the mother plant the leaves aren't like holy or have like a shape or whatever, like the monstera shape, and this plant is developing those leaves, and it's so cool to see. But I was like talking to her like she's like a human. I'm like, oh, well, actually probably even more than what I would tell a human, but I was just like, you know, we're besties. It's so funny. I love my plants so much, but I think that's truly what helps them grow so beautiful and just thrive and be so happy.
You know, it's totally the same actually with human relationships too. I was just filming like random TikTok videos, and I was like, this is something I've recognized within my own life and behavior and so many other people's, is that because we're kind of taught to like complain or to focus on like what somebody isn't doing, we'll often do that. And then we'll go to like our friends and families and talk about our spouse and be like, oh, they never do this. They're always doing that, and be like really upset. And then our friends and families get this like negative perspective of our spouse. And then we might do the same thing with our spouse and say, oh, my friend's not calling me back, or my friend didn't want to meet me today and I'm mad at my friend, you know. And then the spouse gets those views of the friends. And then your relationship is in jeopardy because the people who love you are saying like, oh, well, I've only ever seen him do bad things and, you know, not be good to you. And I don't think he's good for you. And then the boyfriend's like, I don't like your friends and family, you know, because they're always treating you like this. But and it's also the same within the relationship. If you're like, you never do this and you always do this, and I'm so sick of you doing that, versus, I love you so much. Like, I'm so thankful for you. You're always doing this for me and you make me feel so loved and happy and safe and special. And I love you so much. Like, it changes the relationship in every way. But I mean, we talk about just, you know, whatever you're speaking about, you're speaking into existence. But within relationships, I think it's extra important to be mindful about what you are sharing and what you are focused on within somebody. Absolutely.
So true. And I feel like the human mind, I mean, I think that we're all kind of collectively programmed this way. But we tend to focus on the negative in any sort of situation. Like, I think about this with like at work, you know, maybe you're doing an amazing job, like they promoted you and this and that, and it's all going good, but you make one mistake and you'll beat yourself up about it for days and days. But also that day you did this and this and that and accomplished all these great things, but you'll still be focusing on that one negative thing for days. I found myself recently, I'm very aware that in my relationship I have someone who's like super like supportive, super like clean and helpful and all the things, and literally like treats me like princess. But then I have the audacity to like
Same.
get mad when like a pair of socks are on the floor or something. I'm like, do you see your socks on the floor? You know, and it's just so funny, but it's like the whole day, like perfect angel, like fills up my tank, washes the dishes, put the dishes away, makes dinner, like cleans up the house, takes care of the dogs, like does everything. And then I'm like, I can't believe you.
Dare you? I do the same thing. I'm so guilty of it.
It's like,
but I'm trying to.
Yes, like you have to focus on the positive things. Like obviously you may not like that one thing, but it can be so much more like
it's nourishing to the
yes,
relationship.
Yes, it's so much more nourishing to yourself and to your partner, and you'll both feel better in the end. And in reality, like that doesn't even matter. Like it's not even a big deal. So it's just like noticing where you're focusing your attention, because that can change everything as well, no matter the situation.
You want to know what's really funny? when you're talking about that, I'm thinking too, I spent a really long time single, and as an individual, like, you know, I get really busy and sometimes the house gets messy and stuff. Like, I'll never say this again, but I am imperfect. But when you get into a relationship, there's something about judging the other person that comes so naturally that it's like, you left your laundry on the bathroom floor again. I've never done such a thing. But like the kitchen is covered in junk. Like,
yes. I know that's me. Like if I'm busy, like, you know, filming a little TikTok or like running in and out, I like my laptop's here and my book that I was reading this morning's there, and you know, my
coffee
jewelry. But then it's like you know, and I'm like, okay, I need to chill. And the precious angel wouldn't dare never say anything about that to me.
But me, I'll speak up. I'm perfect, okay? So don't you dare be imperfect. Humans are hilarious.
So funny. Like I can't take it. Like no matter how like in quotations like spiritual you are or whatever, like how healed you are, like whatever, you still are a human, and like you experience these things too, you know? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. In every aspect of life too. If you start thinking about it, it's like, oh, okay.
It makes me think of like of Abraham Hicks and
Esther Hicks.
yeah, Abraham and Esther. Okay, so like I think of them and how she'll always talk about Esther, right? Because
Yeah.
Abraham. Okay, and so she'll talk about her, and even though like she has connected with like such an infinite soul or being, like she still is like out here experiencing contrast and like going through it and thinking the same that we are, you know. And it's so funny and it's relatable, and as always, like we always recommend like listening to them. But it's just funny, we're all just trying to weave our way through.
I think too, you know, we always get what we give out, and when you do intentionally focus on like the good things and the things that you're appreciative for and the gratitude for everything that you have, whether it be within your relationships or your life in general, it will make you feel so much better. And you got to think about, like, do you want your spouse to be constantly nitpicking all the negative things you do, or do you want them to be like, I love you so much, like you're so wonderful, you know? It feels better to focus on the better things.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. So true. So true.
Well, on that note, what shall we put in the water?
Love.
Yeah, you're so full of love. I'm so happy and grateful that you're bringing so much love and infinite abundance and growth and new life and the highest vibrational energy. I'm so happy and grateful.
Oh, yes.
Yay. All right, seeds. I love you so much.
I'll give you mine. I planted some California poppies.
Cute. I love poppies. Welcome to the world. All right, that's super happy. Do we want to pull a card?
Oh.
I suppose we got to, huh? Kind of. Okay. I chose the Wild Mystic Oracle card set because it's all full of animals, and I felt like that was kind of fitting for today.
So magical.
Nature.
I love this deck. I'm excited to see what we get.
Hey. Oh, that's cool.
Wow. Okay, so it looks like a bunny or a rabbit, but it has really cute floppy ears, but also it has antlers and
Jackrabbit, I think.
okay, so a jackrabbit, they have actual antlers?
I think so.
Wow. Wow, that is so cool. It kind of looks like on each antler there's like a butterfly wing coming out as well. There's some cobwebs, but also some beautiful, beautiful flowers, and I already feel like I know where this is going. The card is called Believe. And if you're watching the video, you can
That's
look
so
at it here.
cool. Spider webs and butterfly wings and flowers. I love it. Okay, it's called the jackalope. Actually, I was wrong. This card represents belief and appreciation of the unknown. Is that not everything we just said?
You saw this fly out. We didn't tamper with the evidence. This is real.
The mythological jackalope, a rabbit or hare with the horns of a deer or an antelope, is found in folklore all over the world, as well as being a popular cryptid in North American folklore. Tales and depictions of horned rabbits can be found across continents, from oral legends of the Wixárika people in Mexico, I was just there, to the single-horned El Mirage of Iranian myth. This creature has existed through hybrid taxidermy art and stories for centuries and consistently ignites the imagination of storytellers through the present day. Despite being a mythological cryptid, the jackalope's origin is commonly attributed to the actual sightings of rabbits and hares suffering from a condition known as Shope Shope papillomavirus. papillomavirus. That sounds more right. Which causes them to develop horn-like growths on their bodies. The jackalope reminds us that many unbelievable stories begin with fact and to appreciate magic in our everyday. This card encourages unique perspective and eccentricity and is a symbol of powerful creativity. It carries the message to believe in yourself and know that there are forces within you that have yet to be seen or believed by others. Ah! This is everything I've been feeling today. I'm so happy about this. The shadow reading is the shadow of the jackalope card is belief and imagination taken to excess. You may become lost in your own dream world and forget to come back down to earth. Often that world may seem safer or more accepting, while the real world is harsh and difficult. But with your creativity, you can find balance between both worlds. I feel like that's where the action has to come in, right? You can sit and dream, but you have to take that action as well. The element is spirit. Flora is hawthorn, violet, and elecampane. Don't know what that is. Stones, pineapple amethyst, ooh, alexandrite, and merlinite. Spellwork, see the unseen. Fairy magic, encouraging imagination and inspiration, connecting to the other worlds and promoting visions. Love it.
So good. It's so good. And I love that it's just believe. Like, that's kind of the premise of this whole thing is like, believe in yourself, believe in your intentions, believe in the life that you want, believe
in your well-being, believe everything's always working out for you. Yes.
That's so good. And I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm so happy that you joined us for this episode. It is Earth Day today. It can be Earth Day, whatever day you're listening to this, because we honor and love Mother Earth, and she really does provide so much for us, and I'm forever in awe of her and grateful for her. So
absolutely.
So thank you for setting intentions with us. I'm excited to hear about your intentions that you're setting and share them with us as well. Like, if you can comment or send us a message, let us know what you are planting seeds for, and we will, as a collective, help call those in for each other.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for helping us raise the frequency. Please engage with us, like, subscribe, share this episode if you think someone might benefit from it. We love you. Bye.
Bye.